Not much of an opening statement. That wasn't covered Thursday night after the game. Excited, obviously, about winning a conference game against our in-state rival. And it was nice for the kids to have a couple days off, kind of get their legs back under them after a short week. And then as we begin to prepare, again, another unique week with a game on Friday, we will treat today like a Tuesday. So today is a championship Tuesday. Again, I know last week the days kind of seemed a little bit weird. We were calling days different than what they really were, and this week will be similar. So today will be like a Tuesday, tomorrow like a Wednesday, and then Wednesday like a Thursday. So not as much of an adjustment as a Thursday game, but still a little bit different for our guys. But excited to go on the road. Tulane is extremely talented on defense. The front four are probably as good. Not probably. They are the best front four that we'll have played all year, which coincides nicely with our lack of offensive line depth. But they will be a challenge defensively, offensively. They will be a kind of a pro style meets under center spread meets new age shotgun spread. They want to run the ball and play action pass and do a pretty good job of it. But the strength of their team is certainly their defense.
Thank you. Haven't had a couple of days to look back over the game. Anything that you saw that be tweaked in same amount of short time?
No, I thought we did well. Offensively, no, I think we did a good job. You know, the times that we stalled, we kind of killed ourselves a little bit. And then in terms of penalties and or missed assignments, defensively, you know, I think we were trying to do too much early. And by that I mean our you know, part of playing really good defense is being gap sound. And if I'm supposed to be in the A gap, then go be in the A gap. Don't worry about where the ball is. Go be in the A gap and understand that the scheme of the defense will allow somebody to be free to make the tackle. That you know, if I'm Stephen Taylor or Elandon Roberts, I don't need to make every tackle. Sometimes the best play for a linebacker to do is to go blow up the gap that you're supposed to be in. And at times in those first few drives, those two kids were really trying to do probably a little bit too much and make every tackle, and it was leaving some open holes in there in the run game. So we've got that corrected. It's something we'll work on because those kids are you know, super talented and you know, they're used to making a lot of plays, but when it comes to base defense, being in your gap is more important than making the tackle.
Tom, against Tulsa and SMU, it seemed like Tyler McCloskey was able to get downfield and make some big catches. What have you seen from him in terms of his evolution as a receiver? Because showing some pretty good hands for a former fullback.
Yeah. He's doing a good job. I don't know that he's going to become the focal point of our throw game, but just something that we want to make sure that people respect him, and it dramatically changes. When you show the ability to run your tight end down the middle of the field, it dramatically changes how you're going to support the run, because now you have to make a decision on, you know, am I going to support the run with my boundary safety, or am I going to leave him over the top because the tight end could go vertical? And so, especially with quarters coverage teams, we wanted to make sure that people knew that we had that ability, that if you were going to creep that boundary safety down too tight to the box, that we were going to be able to then throw our tight end or send our tight end vertical down the field.
Tom, you kind of hit on the offensive line, but it looks like the person most impacted is Mason Denley moving into the starting lineup. Can you talk about that? And then also,
you got any eligibility?
You don't want me playing line.
We got to play 5.
And also, if you could elaborate, what exactly happened to Josh and Zach?
Mason will be thrust into the into the fray there, as well as Damian Paris. Damian's got a little bit more experience, obviously, than Mason, but not a ton. So, I mean, like I said, we got to play with 5, and those guys. It'll be a combination of those guys getting ready to play, and Coach Wareheim and the offensive staff, having them ready to play, but also then, the offensive staff being cognizant of the fact that those guys are there and that we've got to be really smart in terms of what we ask them to do. Because to say that the playbook is wide open would be foolish, because it's not. You got to do a good job and kind of ease them in. And this is a long season. I mean, this problem's not going to go away in a week. It's not just a Tulane issue. It's going to be a season-long issue that we need to really think long and hard about what we're asking those guys to do. You asked about Zach. Basically tore every ligament in his knee, ACL, MCL, meniscus, patellar tendon. I mean, everything is shredded up, and so he'll have surgery, possibly 2 surgeries at different times. And then with Josh Thomas, high ankle sprain, tore the ligament off the bone. He'll have surgery. Not sure as to his return. Not expecting him back, but could there be an outside chance? What they're telling me, yes, but not counting on it. And then Marcus Oliver, he's got an ankle sprain. He's cleared to practice. He'll practice today. Just need him. He's got to play and practice better on that sore ankle for us to put him in the game, because right now, he got beat a couple times in the game, not because he's not good enough, but because he was favoring that ankle. So we've got to make sure that he can go when and if he's asked to go into the game, that he's not out there gimping around.
I realize you weren't here last year, but a guy like Zach, who went through the knee injury, worked his way back, I think he had a little bit of issue in camp, and he comes back, and he's a senior.
Yeah, I mean, it's gut wrenching. I mean, him and Bendu, both seniors, both. I think we all think that, this season is, on a trajectory to be a memorable one if we continue to do the things that we've done and not change. But to have their senior years both cut short just rips your heart out, and we'll find a way to use him. Bendu's been great. Mentor, he's been to every meeting, been out to every practice, helping those new offensive linemen. So we'll expect the same from Zach.
Are you going to look for any additional help from running backs, or who would need to step up maybe to help alleviate some pressure on the offensive line and maybe pick up some blitzes and pressures?
Well, it's not the blitzes and pressures. It's the one-on-ones. I mean, it's even. I mean, these guys, their front four, can get a pass rush on any offensive line in the country, and so we'll have to be cognizant of where we slide the center. The center can always, in a 4-man rush, can always be used to slide one way or the other to help a certain guard. We'll be cognizant of how we use the tailback in pass protection in terms of chipping his way out, or what we call chunking his way out in the middle if he's going through the line to help a guard, if he's going outside the line to help the tackle. So all of those things, you can full slide protect, keep the tight end and tailback both in. But again, now you're running 3-man routes into a defense that has 7 guys covering. That the odds are not in your favor on that deal. But we might have to do some of that just because we need to protect those guys, and that's okay. I mean, we'll figure it out. We've there's been worse situations come up in the history of college football that teams have overcome, and we'll certainly overcome this one.
Seven rushing touchdowns you got more of a balance from pretty much everybody on the offense. Is that at this point in the season, is that where you want the offense to be headed, or are they at a point to where you just?
Yeah, I think balance again is being able to win the game the way the defense dictates you to win the game. Balance doesn't mean, hey, we're going to throw it 50% of the time and run it 50% of the time. To me, balance, and I learned this from my mentor, Greg Davis, great offensive mind, now the offensive coordinator at Iowa, longtime offensive coordinator at Texas. Balance is being able to win the game the way the defense tells you you're going to have to win the game. If the defense is loading the box and not letting you run it, then you win the game throwing it. If the defense is defending the pass and not allowing you to get deep shots down the field or making pass completions difficult, then you're able to win the game running the football. And so that is the goal of our offense, is to be balanced, not necessarily 50-50. That doesn't, we don't care because at the end of when the whistle or when the ball is snapped, the defense can do whatever they want. And so we've got to be able to adjust and adapt to what the defense is, the weaknesses of whatever defense presents itself. And we feel like we're on that track. Greg was 16 of 18 for 240-something yards. He didn't have any touchdowns for the second week in a row, but we got down in the red zone after the Tulsa week. We were going to run the football in the red zone. That's for damn sure, and we did that.
In terms of growth from Lee Hightower in the defensive secondary, it seems like he's made some big plays.
Yeah, he's a welcome addition. I didn't know who Lee was in the spring because he was hurt. And so I didn't get a chance to really get to know him until training camp. And really cerebral guy, really football smart guy. He's got some length to him and just understands the game really, really well. Not the most fluid of athletes. I mean, he's changing direction is not his forte right now, but coming downhill and making plays and stopping the run and making plays on deep balls, he's done a great job. And he's kind of my dude on special teams too. He gets kind of everybody lined up and going in the right direction. So really a pleasant surprise having him back there in that secondary. And I didn't realize how sharp of a kid he was. He's really, really football smart.
You had mentioned with the short week last week that I'm not sure how much pad work the guys got, but that first quarter may have been indicative of things that happened in practice or how y'all approached it. Anything that you took from that you will use this week since it's another short week?
It's really not, though. We played on Thursday. It's really a long week. We have 8 days, since the last time we played, where the other one we had 5 days. So it's actually a long week for us. So won't take too much. We'll treat it like a normal week. Whether the slow start on defense was because of how physical we were in practice on the week leading up to the SMU game, I don't think we've determined that. It'd be very hard for me. We're still kind of in the process of examining that. I mean, there's no real way other than kind of talking to players, seeing how they felt, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, if we're going to err on one side, we're going to err on the side of being too physical in practice, certainly not being too soft in practice. That's just kind of not who we are. So if that means we're a little slow out of the gates on defense for a series or two, I'll take that any day of the week over going out and no pads an entire week. That's just kind of not who we are. Right back at him.
I know what you're going to say on this, but the rankings came out yesterday. You guys are ranked. Is there a bigger picture look to this in terms of what you tell the guys with, I guess a few weeks ago you had mentioned before the Louisville game that, you kind of brought up Boise State as an example of, looking to them or being out there. Do you take that in terms of that whole group of 5, New Year's 6 bowl talk and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's that's always our goal, but that's more of a end of the season goal. The last I checked, the playoff committee is not going to care where we were ranked after the 5th week of the season. They're going to care where we are at the end of the season. And so, although it's nice to be recognized for what we've done thus far, they don't. I don't think they give any mid-season trophies or mid-season bowl invites. So I'm sure I sound like every other coach in America. It really it doesn't matter, you know. It doesn't. None of it matters. And so what I told our guys in our team meeting yesterday is just make sure that the circle keeps getting smaller and smaller, and that we're not letting any of these outside messages kind of creep in, because we're all humans, and praise always feels a lot better than criticism in the short term. And so as humans, we try to seek out praise, and what I told them is the really successful people seek out criticism. They want to be criticized, and they want to be helped to improve on their craft. And so I hope our guy, I mean, gosh dang, I've talked to him ad nauseum about it, that it doesn't matter. I don't know why they even do them. You know, what matters at the end of the year is what the playoff committee decides in their mind is the highest rated non-group of 5 school and team. So what the AP or coaches say after week 5 is not going to matter.
Tom, having been around some successful teams in your previous coaching stops, do you see any similarities in terms of this team, the way that they've kind of rallied around one another? I know you guys have really made a big deal about playing for your brother, and some of the guys have echoed some of those comments in previous weeks, but now especially with depth being tested, have you kind of started to notice that these guys are really rallying around each other and playing for each other?
Yeah, I saw that for the first time really in the Louisville game, you know, that these guys have it in them to play for each other. And now we'll see when some major adversity, we had some minor adversity strike in the kind of first quarter and a half of the SMU game, and our guys responded, but let's put us down by 10 in the fourth quarter and see how we respond again. And so, you know, it'll be interesting to see when tested if we hold true to form. But right now, that is the one glaring similarity of all the great teams that I've been a part of. This team has that part, at least for now, has it down.
Tom, did you hear or read about Urban Meyer's comments about his game the other day and how he looked at your Thursday game and how you used Greg Ward to kind of try to figure out the quarterback situation?
What in reference to?
Just how he saw you using Greg, and he knew he had that over at Ohio State, so it kind of maybe reinforced how
Reminded him?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see it. I certainly don't want to comment on something I didn't read and or see, but they're doing a heck of a job. I know that their fans are interesting sorts. They're 6-0 and they're averaging 500 and something yards of offense, and everybody's freaking out. I got a feeling they'll be just fine.
And this is not a follow-up to that, but just another question on the 2-division format. Now that you're getting into conference play, more than a couple of weeks now, pros and cons. I mean, you like that format, especially you look at the West. It's really stacked this year. Is that kind of
Yeah, I think that the pros are that you're able to have a 12-team conference and still determine a champion. It's even though you're not playing every team each year, you're going to play every team every 2 years, and so I think it worked, really well for the Big 12 for many years when they had 12 teams, and it worked well, continues to work well for the Big Ten and the SEC, all those conferences. I think, to your point, that the cons would be on the years that, one side is considerably disproportionately talented, I guess, than the other. It makes it a bit, unfair is not the right word, but makes it more difficult going through one side than the other. That would really be the only con, and that we hope in this conference is an anomaly rather than the norm.
Coach, looking back to when you took over the program and the improvements that the team has made, right here is this where where you expect the team to be?
I don't know. I don't know that we had any expectations, and we certainly didn't say, hey, on October 12th we want to be this. You just go and you just prepare and you just practice and prepare your players the best you know how, and teach them the plan and teach them where to be and how to do the things that we're asking them to do and why we're asking them to do the things that we're asking them to do. And then, you wind up on, what is it, October 12th? Did I say that right? You wind up on October 12th and you're here. I don't know that we had any preconceived ideas of where that here was or should be. Good? Go Cougs.